Hello, this is Rishav and this is a demonstration and architecture part of BigSync software. I'll start with the demonstration now and after that we'll cover out the architecture part. So first of all, we can see here this is our landing page. So in this landing page we'll have to import a file. So first of all we'll import a file here. Let's say I chose this file to import here. I imported it here. After that we'll have three options as of now to select. For the sake of this video we'll select oscillatory stability management. We'll click it here and after some time we will be redirected to /OSM route. So we can see here we are redirected to /OSM route here. So now this is the UI of the OSM module. So we can see here that we have three different panels. In first panel we have options to select a substation and a particular line of that substation. In second panel we can plot data of that substation and that line, and in third panel whatever results we are getting it is showing here. So first, as of now no data is selected, so everything is null here. So we'll start with selecting a data. Let's say I selected this substation 2 and line 2 and I plotted it here. So we can see here that this data is rendered here. Now we can do lots of things here. We can zoom in, zoom out, all those things we can do here. We can pan if we want data like this. So all those things we can do here. So now to extract modes from this data, we'll click on this extract modes button. So after clicking here, it will take some time to do computation. And after a few seconds, we got this data here. So we can see here that number of modes that the algorithm has detected is 1, and the data and the mode that we got here is this 1.163. It has damping percent of 1.14. All those things, all those data are mentioned here. And since only one mode is detected here, we can see that we can only select one mode. But if number of modes are more, we will have options to plot modes here. And all the properties of modes we can plot here. So let's say I want to plot mode here, so we can plot it here. If we want to plot amplitude, we can plot it here. If we want to plot instantaneous energy, we can plot it here. If we want to plot instantaneous frequency, we can plot it here. So all those things we can do here. So regarding this characterization data, we can see here that we are getting red. So we can see here that our system has detected this mode as very high risk mode. Now this was the demonstration part of the video. Now I'll talk about the software architecture part. So for that we'll come here. So the software architecture of our application, it can be mostly divided into two major parts. If we divide it in very high level, we can divide it in two parts, front end and back end. So front end is the part where a user interacts with the software, and back end is the part where all the processing, algorithms, all those things work. So for taking an analogy, we can take an analogy of working of a restaurant. So let's say we went to a restaurant and we ordered some dish there. A waiter will come, they'll take our order, they'll give it to kitchen, and the chef will prepare food in the kitchen and it will send the food back to us. The waiter, they'll take food from kitchen to us. So in similar way, our application also works. So we are kind of a visitor there. We'll work with the UI part. We'll select the data in the same way we are selecting a menu. The server, it will get the data, it will process that data, and it will send and the results it will send accordingly. So the software architecture that has been used for this application is layered architecture. So in this layered architecture is the architecture in which there are different layers. Each layer they'll have different tasks, and each layer can interact with their adjacent layer. So first of all, on the top of this architecture, presentation layer is there. So presentation layer is the layer which with a user interacts. Like this is the presentation layer. We are interacting with this. We are plotting a particular substation and a specific line of that particular substation here. So these things, whichever like the part of the software with which we are interacting, that is presentation layer. Now we selected a data and we are clicking, we clicked on this extract modes button, and it was sent to server. So the part where data is transferred from presentation layer to backend or front end to backend is done by communication layer. So when we click on extract modes there, when we click on extract modes here, so we are making HTTP request to the server. In the same way, we are making a request to chef to make those items for our food. So, so it is making HTTP request to the server, and depending upon those requests, server will send some response. So we talked about presentation layer and communication layer. After so the communication layer will take data from presentation layer and it will give to business layer. So on high level, I talked about front end and back end. So these two we can think as front end part, and these two we can think as back end part. So business layer can be said as the brain part of our whole server. So data comes from communication layer to server. So now communication layer to business layer, and now it is on business layer to think where to give this data to which class or which function we should give this data, and we should get response. So depending upon code we have written, it will give data to a class or a function, and the data will be transferred to computational layer. So depending upon data it is receiving from business layer, it will do computation thing. So it can be said as the powerhouse of the server, which is doing all things, and after doing signal processing and doing computation, all those things, it will send data back to business layer. Now business layer part is to send data back to communication layer. Communication layer will take it to presentation layer. We are getting data in presentation layer from the server that we saw earlier. So this was architectural and the demonstration part of BigSync software, OSM module of BigSync software. Thank you.